just a whole slew of films. And then finally came the moment of Niagara. She was doing work of that quality that they simply could no longer deny her what she was earning. In other words, they were forced by a combination of fan mail and the reaction of the public and Marilyn's own work to finally deliver to her the stardom that she was in search of.
But she had that wonderful, magical quality, a great charisma on the screen, where she absolutely came alive on the screen. And that's such a gift, you know, you either have that or you don't. And she certainly did. And everybody that worked with her absolutely loved her. You know, they thought she was so wonderful, and she was.
Marilyn's mantle of stardom filled her life with people and excitement. She was admired and loved because she was beautiful. But with the adoration came the backlash.
She had power and she never knew it. And if you don't know you have power, you know, what good does it do you? And because I think people were really very cruel to Marilyn. They made fun of her when she walked down the street on the lot. People came out behind her and made an exaggerated walk and made fun of her. When you give off that sort of persona, you know, I sat and I talked to you like that, you wouldn't exactly take me as seriously, would you? No matter what I said. And if you just look at what she says, if you put it on paper, she's very, very bright.
Marilyn's career was reaching its peak. At 27, 20th Century Fox promoted her as the blonde bombshell of the 1950s. She was made to appear sexy, shapely, and none too bright. Audiences were drawn to her comic naivete and physical beauty. So was one of the most famous athletes of the day. He was the legendary Yankee baseball player, Joe DiMaggio. Their love and marriage became an American myth.
I want to thank the editors of Photoplay magazine and all of the public. I thank you very much.
In 1953, Photoplay magazine voted Marilyn Monroe Best New Star of the Year. Of herself, Marilyn said, "The reason I got ahead was that I was lucky with the right men. Blonde hair and breasts, that's how I got started. I couldn't act. All I had was my blonde hair and a body men liked."
Marilyn became really the first sex symbol for America I mean, she wasn't trying really hard to be sexy, it was just there. And she seemed very sort of vulnerable and helpless, and you felt like you wanted to help her.
Marilyn was hot at the box office.
May I kiss your hand?
I always say a kiss on the hand feels very good, but a diamond tiara lasts forever.
We're just two little girls from Little Rock. We lived on the wrong side of the tracks.
But Little Rock or Square Rock, these gals must have their rock. Diamonds are a girl's fancy.
Gentlemen Prefer Blondes was a smash hit and became one of her signature roles. That movie's success and her comedic skills earned her a coveted invitation to Grauman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood, fulfilling yet another childhood dream. From coast to coast, Marilyn drew crowds wherever she went. She stopped traffic in New York on the way to the theater. People couldn't resist the allure of the most beautiful goddess of the silver screen.
The doors opened, and all you could see were about a dozen policemen crowded around and circled around this tousled blonde head. And the crowd went out of their minds. As she came close to where I was, I will never forget, her head was sort of tossed back and tears were rolling down the sides of her face. And all I could see was Norma Jean and the victory. They love me. I'm accepted. I'm okay.
Marilyn's stardom provided a sense of safety and security she'd never known as a child. But her success bred conflicts and power struggles with the men who ran her professional life, the studio executives. She was too independent-minded for some of the men at the top.
When she arrived for the first day's shooting, Jane Russell had this wonderful dressing room, and Marilyn didn't have a dressing room. And Marilyn went into Zanuck's office and said, "Look, whatever else I am the blonde." It says gentlemen prefer blondes. She had to force them to give her a dressing room.
Success or not, her image as the dumb blonde was becoming a joke to critics and an obstacle to becoming a serious actress.
I think Marilyn was always an underdog. I think that the critics really ripped her to shreds. She was fighting a stigma that sort of got her to where she wanted to be, but it became a prison for her because people didn't want to see her as talented or as intelligent. And I think that happens for a lot of women.
Marilyn's career was hot, but her personal life was even hotter. Career objectives took a back seat when the world's most desired woman fell in love. The man in her life was the New York Yankees baseball star, Joe DiMaggio.
She didn't go after the typical Hollywood hunk kind of guy. That didn't interest her. She was really turned on by men of accomplishment.
Joe D. asked Marilyn to dinner. She expected him to be loud, sporty, dressed in flashy clothes, like a brash New Yorker. What she found instead was a quiet, shy man. All through dinner, he never took his eyes off her. Marilyn described Joe as having the grace and beauty of a Michelangelo. He moves like a living statue, she said. I'm sure I'm in love with him. I know I like him better than any man I ever met. After 2 years of dating, the beauty and the baseball star married. It was January 14th, 1954. Thousands of fans followed their every move. Their romance took the world by storm.
When a well-known honeymoon couple arrives at Tokyo Airport, a throng of 4,000 baseball and movie fans surge out of control, break through police lines. Joe DiMaggio and his bride smile bravely at their greeters, but they don't dare move. So back into the plane they go, while police clear a path to the cargo hatch with DiMaggio's convertible. The stratagem worked. The former Yankee slugger and his picture bride escape into the car and head for the safety of their hotel.
They honeymooned in Tokyo. Right after that, Marilyn toured for the USO in South Korea. She provoked near riots from the troops. Marilyn's reception from the GIs didn't resonate with her husband. After all, it was his new bride they were lusting after, and it only got worse. Joe didn't like the women she played in movies. Marilyn said he called them sluts, and he didn't like her clothes. He said they were too tight and attracted the wrong kind of attention. Show business isn't any business for a girl like you, he'd tell her. It looked as if their storybook marriage was ending before it had even begun.
Norma Jean was always searching. She wanted love and security and a father. She wanted this security of being married to an older person.
The final blow to their marriage came in what history recorded as one of the most famous movie scenes of all times and one of the most legendary of all photographs.
The night they shot the skirt scene, as it's called, for the 7-year itch, out there shooting the scene on the street with 5,000 people watching, when her skirt rose and DiMaggio standing on the sidelines, her husband, was totally infuriated. And at the time when all the publicity allowed the fact that he was so angry watching this, I don't think it ever made any sense to anybody why he got so mad. But having been there and having watched myself, I understood his anger. And in fact, it's said they went back to the hotel that night and there was quite a fight.
Marilyn and Joe divorced within the year on October 27, 1954. What good is being a sex star if it drives your man away, she asked. At divorce courts, mobs of people showed up. Are you still friends? Someone shouted. Yes, she said. But I still don't know anything about baseball. After the divorce, Marilyn left Hollywood. She had just finished making The 7-Year Itch in 1954 and was through with playing dumb blondes. She moved to New York to continue her studies as an actress with the famed teacher of method acting, Lee Strasberg. She was determined to be taken seriously as an actress.
Once she got recognition, which was the first thing she tried to get, then I think she wanted respect, which she never felt in her lifetime.
Marilyn was at a crossroads in her life. Her deepest hope was to reinvent herself as an actress.
She wanted to be an actress, and she felt that if she got older, possibly the acting ability would carry over